Joining us now is the one voice you were able to trust throughout the COVID pandemic. He was right about all of it. Former special advisor to the Trump White House and the Robert Wesson Senior Fellow at the Hoover Institute at Stanford University, Dr. Scott Atlas. Dr. Atlas, it's so good to see you again.
Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
What do you make of this headline? I mean, I know that you're very skeptical about all these scare tactics that hover around emerging viruses now. But after years of suffering through Dr. Fauci killing our economy, Pfizer making billions from the useless COVID boosters, you had masked Nazis yelling in our faces. Is this something that this new virus, is this something that you're looking at? What clues and facts will you be looking to if you want to determine this is a valid consideration, a valid concern?
Yeah, I'd like to address it with talking about sort of the big issues that it points out that you just alluded to. I mean, one is the issue of scare tactics, or what you called scare tactics, which is something we saw during the pandemic, and it's not abated. It's not going away, which is that the media has intentionally created fear in the public. We saw that during the pandemic. It started, by the way, with misinformation, hate to use the phrase, but completely incorrect data on the pandemic, on the SARS-2 coronavirus, of the infection fatality rate. And then what we saw is a tremendous amplification on the level of propaganda about things that were not necessarily the accurate information. Instead of the important information, we saw this amplification of the number of cases over and over again. And in fact, the American media was shown to be far much more of an outlier, really, compared to the rest of the English-speaking media. 90+% of stories in the U.S. media were negative quantifiably during 2020, whereas only 54% outside the U.S. was during the pandemic about the pandemic. Even when cases were going down, the U.S. media stories about cases going up outnumbered the stories about cases going down by 5 to 1 when the cases were going down. So this is very dangerous. This is not just dangerous to amplify fear, it's unethical, it's immoral, because the public needs to be realistically informed, but acting rationally. And the media really failed us. I hate to say it that way, but it's really true. And we're not seeing an end to it. And I think this in and of itself is frightening. Secondly, if I can go on, we cannot trust the data anymore. One of the real legacies of Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, and the media is we have lost trust in guidance about public health and science. And this is plummeted even by surveys now more than any other institution in the United States. Only 40% of people think that the FDA and CDC are good or excellent. It used to be 2/3 of people right before the pandemic. So this is, again, a danger when you cannot trust the authorities, quote unquote. People are more fearful, and when it's needed to trust people about the data, the trust is gone. And so we have a lot of work to do to fix this. And the World Health Organization is one of the least trustworthy organizations. So when they start releasing statistics, and I say least trustworthy because not only were they wrong on every single pandemic, including this last one, but they even said that China was being transparent, was a model of pandemic management and transparency, even when China was blocking the WHO itself from looking at the data with their committee that visited. So, I don't have a lot of good news to say. I just have to say that the era of trusting experts based on credentials alone is over. We have to be critical thinkers. We have to be able to look at the facts, discern truth from fiction, sort of on our own and with people who you can trust, and eventually make decisions that are good for yourselves and your families.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.